Retailers, it's 2022 and it's time to step up your e-commerce strategy by using distributed warehousing. Let's start with the basics. What is distributed warehousing? Distributed warehousing is a business model in which a retailer uses various warehouses to fulfill and distribute products. Suppliers do own the inventory, however, they leverage multiple warehouses in order to route the products in the most efficient way possible. There are various reasons why people might choose to use redundant fulfillment partners. The first of which is that it lowers shipping costs. You can distribute the exact same product for a fraction of the cost and time if it's sent from a warehouse that's near the end customer. Remember, lower shipping costs and lower shipping times increase customer satisfaction as well. Similarly, distributed warehousing allows you to take advantage of price competition among suppliers. Importantly, you have to make sure that you're factoring in both wholesale costs and shipping costs to your total cost evaluation. Cost aside, distributed warehouse model provides a more reliable supply chain. Should something go wrong with one warehouse, you'll have others to fall back on. This applies to both dropship suppliers and 3PLs. So, how do I decide how to route an order? There's a lot of variables that go into deciding how an order should be routed. Let's dive into some of the most common. Firstly, availability. This means what vendors actually have the product that you want to ship in stock. If the lowest cost supplier has no stock, it's pertinent that you choose a higher cost warehouser to ensure that your customer gets the product within a reasonable time frame. Secondly, wholesale cost. Once you see which suppliers have your product in stock, it's time to pick the lowest cost supplier. The next factor to consider is the number of purchase orders being created. Most of the time, retailers will want to minimize the amount of purchase orders that are being created to minimize the amount of shipments and in turn, shipping costs. Fourth, you'll want to factor in the distance to the end customer. Geographic distance is a very important factor to consider because it affects shipping costs. Typically, businesses calculate the distance using the equation cost over kilometer over kilogram. Fifth is the supplier service area. Does the supplier actually ship to your end customer? For example, a US-based warehouse might not actually ship outside the US. If a customer is purchasing restricted goods like alcohol or fireworks, there also may be issues crossing state lines. Sixth is the maximum delivery radius. This factor is particularly important for businesses that follow a local delivery model. For example, if you're a florist, you'll want to route all the orders to the shop closest to your end customer. Next is supplier preference. Supplier preference is a personal favoritism towards one supplier over another. This occurs because one supplier is more reliable or efficient than the other. Next is shipping time. When choosing a vendor to fulfill your order, make sure you consider how long it actually takes them to ship the order. You can calculate the average based on their historical performance. Lastly, dropship fees. Like any other fees, dropship fees are very important to include into your overall cost calculation when deciding what the cheapest supplier is. Now, what do I need to consider before I decide to opt for a distributed warehouse strategy? A good rule of thumb to follow is that there should only be one system making your order routing decisions. This is to prevent a double shipment or no shipment at all. For instance, if Shopify is making routing decisions on top of your outside systems, they may choose different vendors to fulfill the order, and this will cause a double shipment. Similarly, you want to keep processes as simple as possible. While there's always temptation to make very specific rules or hyper-automize, keeping things simple is key to success. So, what do I actually need to start a distributed warehouse strategy? We believe that the most important thing before starting the strategy is having the right system. Your system should be able to accurately reflect inventory and costs for each supplier. Additionally, your system should be able to show vendor-specific product information, like cost units and SKUs, because not all vendors are going to have the same SKU numbers. Your chosen system also must allow you to add multiple vendors for each product. Duoplane, for instance, allows you to add multiple fulfillment partners for the same product at no extra cost. Overall, your system needs to be able to make intelligent routing decisions and handle complex use cases. For instance, you might want to have your order routed to a different fulfillment partner depending on the day of the week to keep all of your vendor relationships consistent. Thank you so much for tuning into our video all about distributed warehousing. If you're interested to see how distributed warehousing works in Duoplane, simply contact us at support@duoplane.com. Alternatively, you can also check out our support article that's linked down below. Thank you so much and see you soon.